Okay. So I will share my screen. My screen is visible, right? All of you.
Yes.
Yes.
So today we will cover ARGOCD. Okay. Anyone know what is ARGOCD? Anyone? Any idea?
I forgot. Madam.
Okay. What about others?
No idea.
Okay. It is a tool. Okay. It's a tool that we use to deploy application automatically. Automatically. This is for a Kubernetes tool. Okay. So the automate deployment to Kubernetes. Got it. We have an application YAML file. Consider we have an application YAML file. So how we will manually deploy the YAML file? I mean, uh, application YAML file. So running commands, right? kubectl apply, then the file name. So it will apply the YAML file to Kubernetes using kubectl's command line tool. So we can avoid that process, okay, if you're using Argo CD. So we need to configure Argo CD. After Argo CD, we need to pointing our deployment to Kubernetes and just create a application or project inside the Argo CD. Then Argo CD will deploy the application to Kubernetes manually, sorry, automatically. So mostly we use this Argo CD for GitOps process, okay, Git operations. Because Argo CD needs, I will draw the simple diagram, okay, how Argo CD works. So we have to install or install the Argo CD application. Mostly we deploy the Argo CD application inside a Kubernetes cluster. Okay. After installation of Argo CD, we need to configure the GitOps or GitHub GitHub account where the YAML file belongs. Okay. So similar way how we will define that GitHub repository inside Jenkins. So similar way we need to define the GitHub URL of our corresponding project, okay, inside the Argo CD configuration. Then we need to define the Kubernetes. So that's all. So we need to create a this application page. So inside that page, we need to define the URL and create the application. So whenever we're creating, the Argo CD will deploy the application to Kubernetes. So this is called GitOps. Got it. Taking the application repos from the Git and sending that application to Kubernetes. So this tool actually we use using coming to the CD process, okay, continuous deployment. For example, we have a pipeline, okay, using Jenkins, we created a pipeline. So that pipeline we can call it as CI. So CI parts completed by Jenkins. So everything is clear. Then we can move to CD part, right? Mostly CD part is deploying our application to production. So consider this Kubernetes is production environment, and we integrate the ARGOCD for CD process. So after completion of CI process, then it goes to or came to ARGOCD to the deployment process. So ARGOCD taking that application repo from GitHub and deploy it to Kubernetes. Got it, all of you? Any
So
doubt?
for part 2,
Sorry?
for CI part, we'll
Hmm.
be taking the GitHub, right, as a source code. In the similar fashion for CD too, we are taking GitHub as a source.
Yes, because we included all the files in GitHub, like application raw code, Docker
But
file, even Kubernetes YAML manifest.
so how do we integrate both of them? Like, if we do some push in the GitHub, it's gonna trigger the CI part, like the Jenkins part. And when coming to CD in the similar fashion, when we'll come to know that the CI part is completed, we have to trigger the CD part. Is it
Okay,
independent of each other? So
that yeah, I will explain. So we have the repository, right? So here we have the GitHub. So this is our repository. So I will draw just that the repository hierarchy. Okay. For example, the application files coming to the source. Okay. Then we have a Docker file. We have another folder similar like source that is for Kubernetes YAML manifest. Okay. So first we need to set up that CI Jenkins. So Jenkins will taking all the application code for the C build process, right? CI part. So finally it will using that Docker file to build the image. That's the process ending. We got a build image. Similar way we set up the CD using Argo CD. So for Argo CD we use same repository, right? We need to pointing to our repository, and we only define the Kubernetes manifest folder only, okay? Because we need only the Kubernetes files. And here we need to deploy that production. So Kubernetes. So whenever that CD completed, okay, CI part completed, we have to add that image build process, image build, build a number, okay? Build number, like similar like, for example, the first build, okay, the first build completed, what will happen? We got a image with the build number. So same thing happen again. Everything is updated in that Kubernetes manifest file as well with the new build number inside the repository. Okay. So coming to the Argo CD configuration, we use a single sync method. Okay. So whenever any code change happen in our repository, so the Argo CD will syncing continuously our repository to make sure any code changes happen or not. If anything happened, then it will redeploy the application again and again. Got it. So this is using a sync method coming to Argo CD.
so the sync happens like through API call, or how does it gonna happen?
Hmm. Not API, because we define that GitHub repository inside the ARGOCD whenever we configuring ARGOCD.
Okay. Then CI part 2, like are we going to set up a GitHub webhook for CI part and right?
CA part we need to define the webhook.
Okay, that's
CD
fine.
we use sync method, sync.
Sync method. Okay. So whenever there is a change in Kubernetes, which is there in the GitHub, it's gonna like sync will find the difference and it's gonna deploy it.
Right.
Okay.
So meantime, I will set up a Kubernetes. Okay. So we can do the lab.
Also, it is a open source tool, right? Argo.
Right.
Okay.
So we have to set up the Kubernetes. So inside the Kubernetes, we deploy the Argo CD. So first we need to connect the machine. Okay, it's completed. So first I am going to install the dependencies. Mm. So kubectl install, now installing AWS CLI. Now one more thing we need to install, that is ekctl. Okay, completed. Now we can directly deploy our cluster using EKCTL. Okay. Meantime, we can go to the ARGOCD official documentation. So this is a AWS installation AWS. Okay. So here we can see that commands how to install ARGOCD inside Kubernetes cluster. So first we need to create a namespace. Then we have to download. Okay. And we are applying kubectl applying command to the namespace that we created above. Then we need to define the file name. So in this case, we don't have a YAML manifest, so we can use dash of flag and define the web directory as well. Okay. So in this case, you can see it's defined that there's a URL that belongs to the YAML manifest that ending with install.yaml. So this is the actual YAML file, and this YAML file belongs to this website. Okay. It's not a website, I think. It's a, yeah, it's a website. See. And it will, I mean, Kubernetes locate that file and install the Argo CD server and dependency services inside our Kubernetes cluster. Then after that, we don't have a CD CLI. We work with the UI part. Okay, working with the UI part. Then we need to expose that safe application using load balancer. So this is the imperative way of defining a service. Okay, without a service.yaml file. So directly using service.yaml, that's a declarative way. This is imperative way. Directly we can run the command instead of creating the file and define the file. This is a command kubectl patch service. And here you can see the service type is load balancer. So we will get a service for the same application and the type is load balancer. So we will get the DNS of the load balancer. Then wait about 2 minutes to wait for the load balancer creation. And here we can see login. Coming to the login, we need to define the initial password. So from the same server, we need to take on the password. Okay. So this is a command to getting the password. kubectl define the namespace, get credentials, Argo CD initial credentials, JSON data.password. And that password is a encrypted password. So we need to decrypt the password using base 63 encryption. Okay. This is a encryption method. So using the base 63, it will decrypt the password using -D. This is for decryption. Okay. So we will get the password and we can log into the Argo CD console. Anyone have any doubt?
So now we are not creating any Jenkins CI part, rather we are like doing the lab for CD part.
No, no, no. This is only showcasing the GitOps process.
Okay. So for the previous one, like CI/CD pipeline, we have defined the stage for the deployment. So in this scenario, we'll go with the same thing, but we will not declare the stage for the deployment. Rather, we are using ARGOCD for the deployment.
Right.
So what is the advantage? Is there any advantage over that or this on this or this on that? Or is just a like based on the requirement?
First thing we can automate that deployment process using GitOps method. Then we can integrate with the CI/CD as well. Then coming to Argo CD, we can see that UI part. Okay, how our applications working, what are the dependency for the application, everything we can see inside the UI. So I will show you that. Okay, coming to the lab, and we can check the logs from UI for the specific application pod, and we can check the events, and everything is visualized coming to Argo
So
CD.
even for the Argo CD setup, we are going with the manual, like going with whatever the declarative or the imperative way. We are manually doing it. Is there a process to do that? Like automate that process rather than we going directly into the like I don't know. I never like I've worked before it.
No, no, no.
Don't use
If we,
AWS like console to do any stuff. Rather, we would be pushing everything in the GitHub and it's going to take place from there. So how does it going to work in the real time? Are we going to log into AWS and do whatever stuff we are doing just like this in the like real time too?
Hmm.
Um,
Actually, coming to the automation process, okay, even it's a Ansible or Terraform or a like CACD, Groovy. So all these things are automation, right? So we call it as automation, but we need to do the initial stages. Like what are things that we are going to automate? So we first we need to define all that things manually. Then only that corresponding service like Jenkins or ARGOCD or Terraform will automate the process. The thing that defined manually.
agree. But the
For
thing is,
yeah.
are, are we gonna on a daily basis as a DevOps engineer, I'm gonna log into the AWS console and do all this stuff on the like server, production server.
Hmm. These are the initial setup only, right? For example, there is a new requirement that we need to include Argo CD for the Git operation. So we need to set up the Argo CD initially. I mean, once. Then how we will log in using the DNS, we need to log into the Argo CD. That's the process. Got it?
So
Or confused?
I'm like connecting the dots. I've lost somewhere.
Okay.
Like my company, we never log into the AWS console directly. Rather, as I said, we use CloudFormation and we define everything in the CloudFormation through code, and we just like um, deploy the stack from our local system itself. Rather, we going into AWS and deploying it there, logging into the production server. So I'm just
Okay.
as
Uh, this is for the Kubernetes case actually. as of now, okay, as of now, we, first I opened my AWS account to set up a EC2 machine to deploy the Kubernetes. So this process actually using the CloudFormation, okay, this is actually a CloudFormation automation process. Now we can see here. So EKCTL is leveraging AWS CloudFormation and it will using one of the stack to deploy Kubernetes cluster for us.
Yeah, I do see CloudFormation is doing the work behind the scenes.
Right, right. And coming to, you say like organization perspective or daily roles, we don't, coming to the ARGOCD perspective, we don't log into any AWS account or anything. Initial, we set up the everything using Kubernetes. Okay, inside the Kubernetes, actually the cluster will running. I'm sorry, the ARGOCD server running.
So when we are going with Kubernetes, we need to log into the. So
Yes, this is our Kubernetes.
so like
Okay.
we will be doing this on the development and the testing environment too, right? Everything goes well, we'll like promote to production. So the development and the
Uh,
staging,
yes.
the development and the
For
staging,
example,
sorry,
yep,
the development
go
and
on.
the staging environments will not be same as the production environment, right? So
No, in my case, okay, how we will replicate? We have a replica for the same. For example, we need to deploy some application to production, right? So this is a
mhm.
production. So coming to production, there is a production Jenkins server there, production Argo CD there, production Kubernetes there. Three things. So coming to the pre-port, we have to set up similar thing here as well. So for the pre-port or okay, pre-production, we have set up a Jenkins, a Argo CD there, a Kubernetes there. And first we try inside in pre-port. If everything is done, replicate the same to production. It's a simple process. Coming to production is a simple process. Here we need to take in so much time. If we, for example, if any issues there, then we need to sort out the issues. And whenever we got a done message from the pre-production, then we can deploy the application to the production.
But in pre-prod, the workload and everything won't be same as production, right? That's what I'm.
Yes. Even for application, we run different Kubernetes for the pre. For example, there is a ABC application. So coming to our EKS cluster, we can see pre-port ABC and prod APC, two cluster. You can see two cluster for the single application. If we have multiple application, then we need to keep the same thing. One for production and one for pre-production and one for production. So cluster is up and running. Okay, fine. Now we have to run that commands, okay? So this is the installation, install Argo CD. So first we have to create that namespace. The namespace created, kubectl, get ns. See, Argo CD namespace created. Now we are going to deploy our application inside the namespace Argo CD using this command. Copy and paste. Hit enter. It's completed. Now we can see the pod, kubectl get pod, namespace, ARGOCD. Will take some time. Okay, see, all the application for the ARGOCD is running, up and running. And this is a server actually. Okay, this is a service actually we need to expose to getting that ARGOCD UI. So as of now, you can see there is no service for all the service, all that specific. There is a service there, but there is no kubectl get SVC. See, there is no service defined for any of the pod. These are the pods, right?
So it should be in the namespace, right? You didn't give.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, internal service is there, that is cluster IP, but we need to expose the application for the ARGOCD server, this one. So we need to run that command. Copy. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. My laptop trying to restart. Okay. I'm canceling that process. kubectl. Okay. So now I'm running that command to create a service that is exposing using load balancer for the service ARGOCD. Now it's patched actually. Now we need to run it again. The ARGOCD now got a change the service type load balancer, sorry, cluster IP to load balancer. So copy the load balancer DNS and accessing, you can access the ARGOCD application. Copy. It will take some time because in backend that load balancer starting or creating. Now we need to take out that initial password, right? So we need to run this command. Copy and paste. So this will be the initial password, okay? to copy the initial password. So this is our ARGOCD UI. So username will be admin and password we copied, right? So sign in. So this is a like the user part of ARGOCD. Now we have to configure. So this is ARGOCD console. So then we need to configure that project. Okay. So we need to can see a lot of options here. First, I'm going to create an application for that automation or the deployment process. So click on the new application. Now we need to define some name for the application. Okay. App new. Then the project name we can go with the default. So this is a term that is syncing policy. So now we need to set as automatic. So it will automatically syncing with that GitOps or the Git repository. Okay. So as per the requirement, we need to define corresponding thing here. Okay. Now I am leave it as same. Now this is the main part. We need to define the repository URL here. So also we can select the GitHub repository, go to the repository. Okay, I'm using one of the repository that belongs to my GitHub. So I'm copying this and put it here. That's fine. Then there is one option here. You can see the path. So the path, we can define the path as well. Okay, path means here you can see where actually that inside the repository where actually that YAML manifest belongs. So inside the manifest, we can see the YAML manifest. That is the service and deployment file. So we need to define the path as well. Copy, paste. That's fine. And the destination. This is the source, right? Source means the repository. And we need to define the destination as well for deploying the application. So the destination is Kubernetes, right? The same cluster installing inside the Kubernetes cluster. So we can just select the default Kubernetes service for deploying our application. Okay. So select that one. And we need to define the namespace. If we have any namespace, we can define the namespace. I'm going with the default namespace. Okay. Inside Kubernetes cluster. This is the connection type. Okay. Cluster URL to connecting our cluster for the Argo CD server. Everything is good. Now, before that, I will show you kubectl get pod. Okay, so this will getting that pod from the default namespace only. In this case, no namespace in default. So for automating this process, just to click create. Some configuration we need to define.
The value should be in lowercase. You have provided uppercase of A.
Which one? Which one?
Application name, app name.
Okay. Now here you can see it's synced with the repository and the status is browsing and everything is completed healthy. So any issues or anything here, we can see a red mark with a failure or anything like that. So now I'm going to cluster and checking the pod again. See, everything is deployed. Also checking the service. See, this is for the application load balancer. Copy and paste. Then coming to the cluster, okay, we can go with how this, see, this is a diagram of our application. So this is application and service deployment. Then we have 3 ports. These are the 3 ports. And everything we can see here, okay, we can check the events and logs. For the logs, we need to configure, but we can see the event as well. How this container created or how this port created. So everything we can see from here. It's scheduled, pulling, started, created, the step-wise process.
So instead of we giving the commands to check the status and check the pod health and something like
Yes.
that, we can go with the
From
UI
here,
ARGOCD and
right,
we,
right, 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 right.
okay.
Here we can see the logs part as well. Here we can see the logs. It will take some time, I think. Also, we can see the summary of this. Yeah, application is deployed. This is a Tetris game. Okay. So if we are going to deploy any, for example, if we have 3 port, right? If I delete one of the port, what will happen? Even
If the replica set is like maybe
right.
it
So
will
I'm deleted. See, same time it will create another one. I'm going to delete another one. See, you can see, yeah, deleting and create another one. So the deployment inside the deployment file, we define the replica, right? So see, replica 3 or so that the deployment, okay, deployment will ensure the replica is running or not. I mean the defined replica. If any of that deleted automatically or manually, that deployment will automatically create another one. So that's why we using deployment, kind of deployment in Kubernetes.
so if we change something in GitHub now, it's gonna trigger it automatically.
Right. See, this is a synchronization part. Synchronizing application manifest from the repository.
Mm.
And what are the synchronization resources? Service and deployment file. We enable both, right? So it will take on. Sync means it's continuously similar like a webhook, okay?
Okay.
So it's continuously syncing with the corresponding repository.
Can you change something in GitHub?
Mm, uh, this is a application actually. I'm using a
Oh,
web
okay.
application.
Can we like change the score name to something else? It will reflect, right?
Mhm.
Change the spelling.
For the application, you can see the repository. Only we keep this is for a test base, so there is no
Okay.
application files for the specific application.
Okay.
Only manifest.
Manifest file. Okay.
Yeah. In rebel scenario, for the same application, we can see the code and the Docker file, everything we can see there in the same directory. But in this case, only YAML manifest.
Mm.
So if we need to change anything, we need to find that source file, then we need to build it again. That's the process.
Mm.
Coming to Kubernetes, okay. There is no other option coming to Kubernetes. So we need to go through the process. the complete process. Like we have a raw code, then we need to build it. Then if anything using for building like Maven, then we need to build, okay, using Maven or Node.js like that. After that, we need to use the Docker file to build the image, Docker image. This Docker image actually we using inside the deployment file here. Got it. Coming to the the Swiggy application, how we will made some changes. We made some changes in the source file, right? Then we need to build it again. Actually, the CA part is completed in that case. So here only CD part. So without CA, we can't made any changes in the CD.
Agree.
Any doubt? Anyone have any doubt for the Git operation using ARGOCD?
I'm good.
So similar way, actually, we need to deploy multiple applications. Okay, create new option and create in real scenario. We can see multiple application here, and we can see the status as well. This is a complete manifest.
So logs aren't enabled. Do we need to enable them?
Sorry.
Like logs is not showing any info, right?
No, logs is not getting here. For that, we need to configure it from that cluster level.
Okay.
Event is here. See, these are the events.
But the events won't capture the errors, right?
Right. If any, for example, whenever that code creation time, if anything, if you face any error, then we can see under the events what stages. For example, here you can see the events. Okay. For the specific code creation, you can see successfully pulled image. So when if anything facing whenever the Kubernetes is pulling the image, we will get a image pullback error, right? So we can see that error inside the events in which stage actually we facing error.
Maybe the logs gives a more in-depth like
Right.
where went wrong and
I will try one CI/CD project. Okay, so that project we can integrate the CD for the Argo CD as well. So in that case, you will get more idea how we will integrate with the
yeah, that
Argo
would be
CD.
great actually.
Yep.
Can we do it tomorrow?
For the CI/CD, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm, I will inform you. Okay, all of you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I am planning to do one project on Spring Boot application. Previously, we used one Java and Node.js. So
Node.js.
I'm
Okay.
trying to do another project with Spring Boot. If everything okay, I will ping you on group so we
Okay.
can go with. Yeah. Tomorrow, I am planning to do some lecture on Podman.
What is that?
Podman.
Okay.
New word, right? Podman.
Mm-hmm.
Podman is actually an alternative for Docker
Okay.
with more features. Okay, coming to Podman, we can see more features comparing with the Docker.
Okay.
So if there is any doubt, otherwise we can wind up, right? All of you. All good, right? Then we can connect tomorrow, all of you. Then we can wind up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go see. Okay, then bye all.